Hey guys, it's JJ. Welcome back to the Eagles franchise. Today we're gonna go through stats and awards and stuff like that, the status of the team ahead of the off season. And yeah, this was a disappointing loss in overtime against the Seahawks. But we're gonna look ahead. This is a young team and they're gonna get a lot better. Tom Brady is the passing leader by 4 yards, beating out Jalen Hurts. Hurts has more touchdowns and less interceptions though, so yeah, he really played well. He still has some inaccuracies, but his yards per attempt are pretty great, and his deep ball accuracy is better than his ratings would suggest. For the rushing title, well, Miles Sanders was not up there, but we didn't run it a lot either. So if you see, like, he has 238 attempts. If he had the same average on 300 attempts or something like that, like some of the other players in that list, he would have like 1800 yards or something like that. So he would be toward the top of the list. Jalen Hurts is also, I think, the top QB or the second best QB in rushing yards. He had 4 touchdowns and 682 yards. So he created 6,400 yards from scrimmage alone in this offense, and 2,300 of those went to Devontae Smith, by far a league record. He had 22 yards per reception on average, and he had 21 touchdowns as well. The amount of deep touchdowns he had is unbelievable. That is like unparalleled. He had, like, you cannot press him, because if you do, you're gonna get burned. The number 2 receiver, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, he had 1,100 yards and 14 touchdowns. His contract is coming up now. I did not re-sign him, and I'm not sure if I will. Mitch Slaughter, 1,089 yards, 12 touchdowns, also has a pretty great average at 16 per reception. That's pretty great. Dallas Goedert didn't get involved as much. He still had a few important catches over the course of the season. Every game there was 1 or 2 third down conversions that were pretty important. Miles Sanders had 440 yards. The most disappointing season by far had Jalen Reagor. 30 receptions for not even 300 yards and less than 10 yards per reception. That is pretty bad. And Jalen Reagor may be traded in the offseason. And then a few players down the list that don't really matter. But yeah, Jalen Reagor, 300 yards, not even 300 yards. It's pretty low in number. And then for the defense, Taylor Anderson finished top of the list in tackles, just because Mike Middleton was hurt for the last, I think, 2 games. He was out, and yeah, but still had 133. This was a pretty good season for Middleton. It was nothing like spectacular or anything, but still a good season. Then Kayvon Wallace, the safety, also had a lot of tackles. They had to fly all over the field, especially because our run defense was so bad. The runners usually got to the second level, and then the safeties and the middle linebacker have to do all the work. But TFL's Jonathan Rivera, 24, Brandon Graham, 23. Our edge rushers were a really good duo. They were really solid. Fletcher Cox also 22, but I'm afraid he might be retiring. He is 32, I think, so he may be retiring. We'll see how the offseason is going to go. We're going to look at the retirements as well, of course, and we may have to replace him if he retires. And then down the list, there's a few players. Mike Middleton's run defense was pretty good. He was like stuffing the holes. He was getting it done. He closed down rushing lanes. And when he was gone, the Cowboys put like 50 points on us, and the Seahawks as well. So we missed him really badly. 400 yards, like just between Zeke and Chris Carson, it was probably like 350 yards rushing in 2 games that we allowed. And yeah, for sacks, Jonathan Rivera, top of the list, 18 sacks as a rookie. And Brandon Graham, 16.5 sacks. Fletcher Cox, 14.5. These 3 players were really dominant. While Josh Sweat, who was starting in 4-3 base, only 4 sacks. It's not a lot. His snap count went down though, so Maybe that's part of it as well. And then Derek Barnett had 4 sacks. I think that is a lot better considering he didn't start at all. He was just a rotational pass rusher. Came in when Brandon Graham was tired. So I think his 4 sacks were pretty good for his snap count. And then for interceptions, Dante Jackson, Darius Slay, Avonte Maddox, our top 3 corners, each got 2 picks. And then Josiah Scott came in and had a pick at the end of the season. I think it was the last game. But nobody else. Chris Madden did not have a pick. Taylor Anderson did not have a pick. Kayvon Wallace, our new starters in the secondary, none of them had picks. Jonathan Rivera, if you get 18 sacks, you're probably going to force a couple of fumbles, especially since he's rushing from the blind side, and he forced 3 of them. Brandon Graham from the other side also forced 2 fumbles. So those 2 are a pretty solid edge duo, I would say. And yeah, just because it's fun, Kalen Saunders recovered 3 of those fumbles, just because it's nothing like special about recovering fumbles. You don't have to be qualified, you just have to fall on it, but still he got lucky and recovered 3 of those fumbles. And then for the team stats, the Eagles are top of the list on offense. I think first in offense in general, second in passing yardage, and really down the list if it comes to rushing yardage. Yeah, that is probably like bottom 10. We didn't run a lot. That's it. There is no like, our running game isn't bad or anything. We just don't have to use it a lot. And then for points per game, by far, we were the most efficient team in the league, 34 points per game. We had some 40-point games there. We had the most passing touchdowns. You're also going to see we do not have the most rushing touchdowns, not even close. We have the second least. And that is just like, that's it. That's our offense. We are a passing offense. And it shows in the stats as well. I like to throw a lot with this offense. We have some explosive playmakers at receiver, at tight end. Dallas Goedert can break tackles. First downs gained. We are not even there in the top 10. We're maybe just about top 10. That's because we had some deep touchdowns. And if you have deep touchdowns, you're not going to have a lot of first downs necessarily. So that's why we didn't finish top of the list there. And for defense, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but we can do better. I sure think so. Passing yardage allowed. The Eagles are best in the league. We have a great pass rush. Although I also gotta say there was a lot of coverage sacks, but we also allowed the second most rushing yards of any team in the league, and we really saw what happened if like our run defense without Mike Middleton was pretty bad in those final 2 games, wildcard round and the week 18 game. And points allowed, like third to least would that be, I think. Yeah, pretty bad as well. So, and also we allowed we had 74 quarterback sacks, which is pretty great, but there was a lot of coverage sacks as well, because our secondary really can cover up these receivers. We have Darius Slay, we have Dante Jackson is your number 2, and Chris Madden your number 3 or 4. That says a lot about your secondary. But we did not have a lot of picks because our receivers just dropped a lot of those, or because they blanketed the receivers so much that the opposing quarterbacks didn't want to risk it throwing to them. For conversions, third down conversions is like the only thing that counts, and we're top of the list right there because we have this dink and dunk way with the rack up side to march down the field, and that leads to a lot of 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s. And I'd say probably a lot of teams down that list on third down conversions have tougher third downs just. And yeah, for red zone efficiency, wasn't amazing or anything. We had 13 trips, which did not result in any points. There was a few turnovers and few fourth downs that I shouldn't have gone for it. But yeah, and for defense, yeah, pretty average. I mean, 65%. Yeah, that's really average. But we should get better. when we upgrade our defensive line, which really took a hit when I had to trade Javon Hargrave last season because of cap space reasons. And yeah, turnover differential. This is really bad because we have to scroll all the way down to the second to last spot to find the Eagles because we lost the most fumbles in the league. Jalen Hurts, he got pressured a lot. He got sacked a lot. I think he got sacked like 60 times in the season. And if you get sacked a lot, there is going to be some fumbles because you don't always anticipate it. You can't always see it. Yeah. What do you want to do? We didn't have like many picks though, so that's pretty great, but the turnover differential is pretty bad. We had the most turnovers of any NFL team because of the fumbles that Jalen Hurts produced, and it wasn't even necessarily his carrying rating or anything. So yeah, standings at the end of the season, Saints are gonna have the top pick, but there's also some other teams there who might wanna take a quarterback. And well, there's a lot of 8 and 9 teams, a bunch of 9 and 8 teams. By the way, the 8 and 9 Rams made it to the Super Bowl, and yeah, you're gonna see how that is gonna go in the next episode. But for this episode, we finished pretty good, but we were kicked out in the wildcard round, so we're probably gonna have like the 22 pick overall or something like that. Or hang on, the 22 pick I think it is gonna be. And yeah, we're gonna go through the playoffs here as Tom Brady lost to the 7th seed Rams. Cooper Kupp 147 and 2 touchdowns. He played a really nice season as well. He had a lot of yardage and touchdowns. And for defense, nothing special happening here, but yeah, the Rams win in overtime against the 2 seed Bucks with Tom Brady. So both the top quarterbacks in the league, passing wise, are eliminated in a wildcard round. And yeah, the Dallas Cowboys really, they violated the Bears. They really destroyed them. Justin Fields did not have a good day, but I would also say he got sacked 4 times. That's not bad. That's not good. And he didn't have much receiver help at all, I'd say, because Allen Robinson might be a good boxing out receiver, but he's not a good route runner. And yeah, Roquan Smith flying all over the field, didn't change a lot. There were also a lot of tackles for loss for the Bears, but probably because the Cowboys were leading so much of this game that they just ran the entire second half, and that leads to a lot of tackles and tackles for loss and stuff like that. But also Jordan Lewis has both picks, and they move on, and they beat the Seahawks, who beat us in the wildcard round. And the Cowboys 451 yards of offense. Dak Prescott's pretty solid game, but Russell Wilson as well. It was not Wilson's fault according to these stats. It's just these Cowboys have such a good running game, and you saw it in the Week 18 game. Ezekiel Elliott had more than 200 yards just on the ground on us. So yeah, that's what happened here. And they didn't even have to throw it a lot, but still did successfully, getting a touchdown. And well, not a lot of defense in this game, only 1 sack, no picks, but DeMarcus Lawrence got in the backfield. So the Cowboys also move on in this game and go to the championship game. The San Francisco 49ers, the 1 seed 49ers, lost to the 7 seed Rams. Trey Lance throws a pick in the process. Matt Stafford, 1 touchdown, no picks. Played a solid game, but also got sacked twice. So yeah, his offensive line gave up something. But also the running game was pretty good for the Rams, and the passing game as well. They had a few guys there. And for TFLs, a lot of singles here. Yeah, only 1 sack for the Rams here in this game, but a pick for Darius Williams, who also forced a fumble. So he had a pretty great game. He forced 2 turnovers And Leonard Floyd also forced a fumble. So, yeah, that is not good news for the 49ers because they are one and done as well. The 1, the 2, and the 3 seed are all 3 one and done. And the 4 seed as well, if I think about it. That's fun. Matthew Stafford in the championship game. Moving on to the Super Bowl. Stafford with 4 touchdowns, no picks. Pretty good passer rating as well. Dak Prescott, it was not his fault. But yeah, rushing game both really well for both teams. It was just a matter of the overtime, who gets the final drive, who gets to go down the field, score a touchdown. And Casey Madden, 7 receptions, 95 yards. I think he had a couple of touchdowns as well. Played a great game, but it didn't matter because the Rams have Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey. Von Miller also has a sack here. Sebastian Joseph Day. No picks in this game. Both quarterbacks really solid, but the Rams are moving on to the Super Bowl. 7 seed there. And let's go to the other side of the tree. It's going to be the AFC, where the Jags, the 7 seed Jags with Trevor Lawrence, started undefeated 6-0, and then they lost to us, and then their season had kind of a downward spiral or something like that. And yeah, they did not get back on track at all. And yeah, 7 seed, one and done. Dylan Bonds, the rookie safety, had a lot of tackles here. That's interesting. Javon Hargrave, he had a sack. He did everything he could, but it was not enough. He is also one and done with the Jaguars. In the next game, 3 seed Patriots are moving on. 30-28, producing almost 450 yards of offense. And Mac Jones didn't do anything at all. I mean, he threw for 333 yards, but he didn't have any touchdowns or picks. Yeah, that happened on the ground. 1 touchdown for Damian Harris, and then 2 more touchdowns for Stevenson, and I didn't see who the third guy was. And then, yeah, Kendrick Bourne, Jonnu Smith, Nelson Aguilar, they spread the ball around. It was just a team effort by the Patriots to win this game. And not a lot of defense in the game, but all sacks went to the Patriots, creating to 3 sacks, splitting it up splitting it up on 4 guys there. And so they move on, and the Chargers as well, the 5 seed Chargers with Justin Herbert having 4 touchdowns and Tannehill throwing a pick. Business as usual. For the receiving game, man. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams producing 200 yards, just receiving there. That alone, yeah, you can win on that. If you have an opponent that has 200 receiving yards split up between the top 2 guys. And Uchenna Nwosu also had 2.5 sacks. He had a great season and continues to dominate here in this game as well. Kazir White with the pick, so they move on. And in the divisional round, the New England Patriots move on. Patrick Mahomes throws a pick, and maybe that cost him the game because it was the only pick thrown and was a 3-point game. Damian Harris with a great effort on the ground as well here. Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, they're just passing the ball around a lot. There's not like the one top guy. But yeah, Dylan Bonds once again having a great day, producing 11 tackles. Chris Jones for the Chiefs. The defensive efforts show that maybe the Chiefs should have won it, but JC Jackson has the 1 pick, and maybe it was the deciding factor. In the other divisional matchup, the 1 seed Ravens are one and done. 20-17, losing here to the Chargers. The game was tied at 10 before the 4th quarter, and then, yeah, both quarterbacks basically having the same day on offense as Lamar Jackson. Yeah, only 200 yards throwing. He didn't even run for that much, 46 yards for his standards, pretty low. And then Josh Palmer, 109 yards. Even Tyler Kraft. These Chargers, they have some weapons, and they know how to get the ball downfield. They have some players to do that. And for, yeah, picks, Kenneth Murray and Fabian or Foster Moreau. I'm not sure which one it is. Always confusing those two. And so, well, in the championship game, the New England Patriots with a fourth quarter comeback. 21 points in the fourth quarter and then an overtime walk-off victory. Pull it off. Mac Jones, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Damian Harris, once again, solid effort in the running game. 86 yards for him. Reggie Gilliam with a touchdown here. Ramondre Stevenson, they're splitting their carries. They ran it 36 times in this game. 36 times. And then Hunter Henry, 124 and 2 touchdowns, just casually destroying the Chargers defense. And, well, rookie defensive tackle Austin Tucker had a great game for the Chargers, but it really didn't matter, apparently. Because, yeah, the Patriots are moving on here. 1 pick for Darius Phillips. Didn't he have already one in the postseason? I'm not sure. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you like it and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We're looking at the awards now. Jalen Hurts, QB1, Tom Brady, QB2, no surprises here. Dak Prescott, QB3. And then Devontae Smith, of course, running back number 1 because, yeah, he's Devontae Smith. And yeah, but Arcega-Whiteside and Slaughter did not get invited to the Pro Bowl, so no XP for them. And then Goddard didn't have enough targets there to get here. But yeah, Kelsey didn't get it because he retired before this Pro Bowl voting thing. Brandon Brooks gets it, Lane Johnson gets it. Those two are going to the Pro Bowl here for the Eagles offensive line. Brandon Graham, Jonathan Rivera. There's a lot of players from the Eagles, and Fletcher Cox as well. Our top 3 defensive linemen here. All going to the Pro Bowl, getting some more XP, getting better and better. And then for linebackers, we didn't have anyone because, yeah, Mike Middleton got hurt at the end there. And he also didn't have picks or anything, so yeah. And for cornerbacks, we didn't have any either because they don't get targeted a lot. And no safeties no safeties either. And yeah, so I think this was a pretty successful season, but we may have some regression depending on who is going to retire. We have a few really good players that are pretty old, in their 30s. But first, we have the real awards. Jalen Hurts is the league MVP. And yeah, that is going to get him a lot of XP. He's the league MVP. I didn't really think he earned it necessarily. He just profited from a good offensive scheme. And for Offensive Player of the Year, Devontae Smith is in the top 5 as well, while Hurts wins it. So he wins 2 awards, gets some even more XP. And then Defensive Player of the Year, Jonathan Rivera. He was leading for most of the year. In the final games, he didn't get any sacks, and Khalil Mack did. And so he won it. But Brandon Graham down the list at 5 as well, and Fletcher Cox at 7. Yeah, this list is full of Eagles. Rookie of the Year, Drew Grooms, while Mitch Slaughter came in 2nd here. Yeah, there's just no debate. If a quarterback is in a draft class and he plays a full season, then he's gonna win it. But Casey Madden, also top 3 here. He looked really good in the games against us, and he produced in the postseason as well for the Cowboys. Defensive Rookie of the Year, yeah, it never was a question. Jonathan Rivera wins it here. And yeah, a few other Eagles defenders down the list here. Clay Riley at 7, Mike Middleton at 8, and Chris Madden sadly didn't go anywhere, and Taylor Anderson led the team in tackles, but apparently not worth anything, even though he's a really secure tackler for a safety, I'd say. And then Jalen Hurts, best QB, no discussion here. Best running back, Miles Sanders at 4. Yeah, just didn't get the volume. While Devontae Smith leads or wins the Best Receiver Award, Arcega-Whiteside at 5, Mitch Slaughter at 6. I thought both of them had a good shot at making the Pro Bowl here, but apparently not. And for Best Offensive Line, we have a couple players, Brandon Brooks and Lane Johnson. And I also can tell you that Jason Kelsey was in this list as well before he retired, so he would have, yeah, he would have been in this list as well. And then for defensive line, Jonathan Rivera and Brandon Graham, top two. Rivera really pulled it off, 18 sacks in this season. He looks like a solid edge rusher. I don't think we have to draft an edge rusher right now. Fletcher Cox down the list at 6. He didn't have like the most productive season, but he also got double teamed a lot. And well, best linebacker, nobody apparently. Best DB, didn't have any either. But yeah, and best kicker, I think he didn't even make the list if I remember correctly. Yeah, I did. So yeah, that's the NFC, and just let's quickly go over the AFC here. Lamar Jackson wins Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC. Deshaun Watson second to him. TJ Watt wins Defensive Player of the Year. Tell me something new. Kawhi Green and Tremaine Ellis, Brian Mathis. These are some young stud players in the AFC. They're gonna be good. And I have no concerns about players like Kawhi Green or Tremaine Ellis to be top players for years to come, to be like superstars. They have done a good job at developing in this first season, and same goes also for the defensive players, the defensive rookies here. Austin Tucker is a really solid player. Michael Lambert, the safety for the Broncos, I really liked him. Dylan Bonds played a solid season for the Chiefs. And yeah, there's a lot of players here in this list that I expect to see a lot from in the next few seasons to be seen. For best receiver, Jarvis Landry, but I mean, these awards don't really mean anything for us specifically. Yannick Ngakoue got something for the Raiders here. TJ Watt, of course, wins it at the best linebacker spot. Cameron Sutton at the best. Like, the Steelers didn't even make the playoffs. How are they having so many awards here? And then Jalen Hurts, he's getting 3 upgrades from all his award stuff, and that is a rather weak upgrade, I gotta say. Field general again for him. Let's see what this one gives him. That's better, at least. And let's go with it again. He needs to get his accuracies up. He's still missing throws, and he gets a little bit here, but those 3 upgrades were pretty weak. And you can see he was upgraded to Superstar Dev. Let's see if he keeps it. But yeah, his accuracy ratings finally are getting there. He's finally getting more consistent if he plays to his ratings, and maybe we can keep him around. Next year is his contract year, and maybe I draft a new quarterback. Maybe not. I don't know what to do. Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell, yeah, nothing special here at running back. Devontae Smith, he is the top receiver still. Nothing like surprising or anything about that. Mitch Slaughter got star dev. Those were the 2 dev changes that we experienced with this lineup at the end of the season in Super Bowl week. And Slaughter got star dev, and I love it. He's gonna develop faster now. He was an old rookie. He was 23, I think, when we drafted him, so he has some developing to do. While Arcega-Whiteside still has his superstar dev, but I'm not sure if I want to keep him around, because all the work that he does I can have with Mitch Slaughter, and he's a lot cheaper because he's going to be on a rookie deal for 3 more years. So yeah, Jalen Reagor might be a trade target, just like Dallas Goedert, because those 2 didn't get involved a lot. I just don't use my tight ends a lot, so maybe I would have been better off going with like a cheaper backup caliber tight end if I don't use him. And then Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, hopefully they don't retire, but maybe they do, and then we would have to replace them in the offseason. Landon Dickerson for now is my solution at center, but this may be subject to change as well. And then Cam Robinson at left guard was playing okay, I'd say, but nothing special. And then yeah, Jordan Mailata also is a potential trade target, because he didn't play, and it's kind of a waste of money to keep him here, but it's also a huge cap penalty, so maybe if I don't find anybody that takes his cap, let's see. Well, for the defense, Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett are the two players at left end. I want to keep both of them around, but we'll see how. I mean, Derek Barnett still is on contract. Brandon Graham is not. Kalen Saunders' contract also expired. Clay Riley is going to be the full-time starter from now on. Fletcher Cox, hopefully he doesn't retire. Josh Sweat still is under contract. Jonathan Rivera did not get an upgrade to his star dev. He should have superstar by my estimation, because like he had 18 sacks. How does that not get you superstar dev? Seriously? But like, yeah, he's gonna be our top edge rusher here. I think our edge rush group is just fine, and our corner situation is pretty good as well. Slay, Maddox, Jackson, and Madden. I mean, Slay could retire. I don't expect it, but maybe if he retires, we're prepared. This is what we have prepared for. And then Kayvon Wallace is our safety at the back end there. Not sure if I want to keep him around. I mean, his contract did not expire, but maybe we're looking for an upgrade. Didn't have stellar play or anything, so yeah. And then our only like linebacker that's worth talking about, it's Mike Middleton, and he didn't get an upgrade and a dev upgrade either, so he still has normal dev. He's developing slowly, but he looked fine. He looked really solid in his rookie season. And then Ruben Haywood, the other rookie linebacker, he's a fine run stopper, but nothing special. And I think we need to address linebacker in the offseason. It's our biggest need. Then Taylor Anderson at free safety didn't get a dev upgrade either. That's fine. Both of those players are going to be solid starters for years to come, I'd say. And yeah, that is the recap of the team, of the season, of the stats, the awards. And next episode is going to be the entire off season. We're going to have the Super Bowl, we're going to have regression and retirement, we're going to have the re-sign stage, and then after that there's going to be the free agency stages, and then the draft. The most exciting thing of a season for me personally, and I love it. I'm looking forward to this draft class. There is already like 10 players I want to draft, and I can probably, maybe, if I'm lucky, I get 4 of those. So we'll see, but yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe for more Lions franchise. See you in the next episode. Until then, spread some love.